Here we go. Here we go. This is a good match. So, Moke versus Rashid, our first match of top 8 at Manila Cup. This is a great match. And it's a good example of how hard this matchup is. I think in this version of the game, Rashid is probably top 3, right? He's one of the best characters in the game. And I think he has winning matchups against pretty much every other character in the top 8, right? He's a super strong character. But this matchup is super hard. Momochi is pretty good at it, but it's still a really hard matchup because Rashid is like, from right here, he can hit Crouching Fierce, and the hitbox is like out to there. And Ken really doesn't have a lot of great tools to stop it. He has to focus super hard to whiff punish it. And if you're focusing on trying to whiff punish Crouching Fierce, you lose to random light mixer, right? Just a light mixer from out of nowhere. You lose the jump, you lose the tornado, you know what I mean? You lose to so many other things that once you're laser focused on one thing. So it's a really hard matchup just because Ken is outmatched on the ground. Ken's corner pressure, he really can't keep it up against Rashid. Rashid has too many good escape options. He has lots of ways to blow up DP as an anti-air. He's tough, man. This is a tough character to deal with. So let's check this out. Thanks to Spooky for getting these up already, by the way. Yeah, so you can see Momochi, he doesn't even want to hit a button. Out the gate, Moke can run up and start fighting. And he can do whatever he wants in the neutral. But like Momochi is just so outgunned that there's so little he can do besides just wait. And one thing you'll see Momochi do more in this match than you ever see Momochi do, right, is do stuff like this dash and do stuff like the run. Because he just kind of panics and he kind of has to take risks like that in a matchup like this. You know what I mean? Because like it's just so he's so outgunned on the ground. He's so outgunned on the ground. You see him trying to wait and whiff punish, but I mean, how do you get out of range of this button? Look at how far it reaches, right? Look, I mean, he was so far away from him. Like the first one, the distance he is, right here is crazy. He's so far away from him, but the button is still a threat. And that's why Momochi is constantly walking backwards. Because he's trying to get out of range of this and whiff punish it, but it's so difficult. And Ken really doesn't have good ways to stop that. So, Moke does this a lot. Actually, you see a lot of the Rashid players that played today do this. Crouching Fierce, right? After Crouching Fierce, because his hurt box gets pulled back, so back around here, right? He's gonna kind of like get pulled backwards. He hits Fierce after. And this Fierce is just a little buffer to try to catch people who move or do buttons after. And this corner pressure is brutal. His corner pressure is very strong. Oh, he did that was a bad answer. He should have done Heavy Mixer. Heavy Mixer is a better option here because even if Momochi goes past you, if you do Heavy Mixer, it will launch him back into the corner. It pulls you to the front. So that was a mistake from Moke, but he doesn't make that many, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, Momochi is very good at this match. You can tell how comfortable he is. That's like the first 2. Look at the clock, right? These are like the first 2 preemptive buttons that Momochi hits in like the match so far, right? First 2 buttons. His double roundhouse, right? And like that's the thing about Momochi. He has played this set so far and hasn't really had a chance to do anything else this whole time. You know, he's been so kind of like on the back foot, and that's because he's been playing a different kind of neutral. So if you guys haven't read the article that Machabo put out about neutral and fighting games, it's really fascinating. He talks about a couple of concepts in there, and they're super relevant to high-level play in any fighting game. One of them he talks about is like the styles of neutral you can play. And Momochi is playing a style of neutral where he's trying to wait and whiff punish, right? He's trying to wait and react to what his opponents do and counter it. That's kind of Momochi's normal style, right? The problem is that his character is so outgunned on the ground, he doesn't really have the tools to whiff punish stuff like that. So he kind of went back to like the preemptive style, which is B first. It's really interesting because there's natural counters to thing, right? So if Momochi is playing the style that I talked about where you're just waiting, you're trying to see what they're going to do, you're going to whiff punish, right? The natural counter to that is to do things that are unreactable or do things that beat waiting. So stuff like run-up throw, run-up mixer, jump, things like that that are going to beat Momochi while he's waiting and looking for something else, right? That's kind of like the philosophy. Then if you go to styles that beat the waiting style, which is what Moke has done already, Momochi switches his style to preemptive. Hit buttons before Moke can get in to try to keep him out, right? And when you do that, then Moke can go back to normal, like, you know, use your crouching fierce, use your stand fierce, use your buttons to intercept. So it's like you kind of constantly juggle these styles of neutrals, and good players can like sort of see and anticipate when players are going to switch their styles, right? So that's what you're seeing in this matchup. Momochi is super good at the wait and see style. And also, this corner pressure is very hard to keep up against Rashid long term. It's almost impossible for Ken to keep him in the corner for an extended period. But on the other hand, wow, that was... man. On the other hand, it's very difficult for Ken to escape Rashid. Look at this whiff punish, right? So he tried to whiff punish the crouching medium kick. It was pretty good. What he does here is he walks forward, right? He puts himself in the perfect crouching fierce range. This is how you set up a whiff punish. And then he steps back. You see that? He steps back right out of the range. So that's like a classic way to bait. This is like the classic whiff punishing, right? A classic way to condition someone into getting set up for a whiff punish. And watch it in slow-mo. So this is the most classic way to do it, right? So he blocks crouching fierce. Notice how after he blocks a button, he walks forward and blocks. He puts himself in the perfect range. This is where you want to hit crouching fierce as Rashid. As Rashid, this feels perfect, right? You're like, wow, you're just going to sit there? All right. So he does the tiniest little step back. And then that's where the whiff punish is set up, right? It's just using your mobility in that way. He put himself in the perfect range and then immediately stepped outside of it, right? Super clean. The problem is just that doing that often is so difficult against Rashid. Activation. That was really smart from Moke, and so it's the little things that add up. After he takes this sweep, Momochi back rolls, which is great, but the second thing he does is he backs up to throw the tornado, because the closer your opponent is to this tornado, the worse your mix-ups are, right? So you want to try to create that extra space. And here, Momochi's just going to block. He'll be willing to eat throws. Yeah, you see, he didn't even try to attack. Willing to take throws because you can just late rise and not eat the tornado. Got him. He's not dead, yeah.
Not enough damage. He has the corner.
That is a meeting, and there it is. So dash forward is what he's been doing a lot, because this is how he sets he sets this up earlier, right? We saw the whiff punish he had earlier, where he was in this same kind of range where he made Gachikun whiff the crouching fierce. Momochi showed, hey, if you hit a button at this range, I'll whiff punish it, which sets up dash forward throw, right? So this is Momochi switching styles. This is super cool, right? Momochi is known for waiting, right? All he does is sit there and wait for you to do stuff, right? And we talked about how the answer to that style is to do things that are unreactable. So when Moke sees, like, all right, he's just sitting there, he's waiting, he's doing his normal Momochi thing, I can move forward safely, right? Because you know Momochi won't strike first. He's always going to wait for you. Then Momochi just does, boom, dash throw. He switched his styles, like, immediately. That's what makes somebody who plays a defensive style really dangerous. Like, if you ever watch NuckleDu's Guile, that's like why his Guile is so hard to predict, because he can throw a boom, and you have no idea after he throws the boom. Is he going to walk forward and try to play ground buttons? Is he going to throw another boom? Is he going to do this? Is he going to dash forward, crouching fierce? Like, he's so hard to predict about what he'll do after, but his defense is also super solid. So that's what makes Momochi dangerous, and that's why this works.
Out of nowhere, Momochi.
It's definitely a super cool set to watch. That was a super laid back fierce, man. He hit confirmed it like at the last possible second. Yeah, Do has that very kind of like peculiar style. You see that standing fierce thing again, right? He does the same thing, right? Crouching fierce. After it hits, he sticks out fierce, kind of far away to buffer. This is to catch somebody hitting a button or doing something after. That was a good neutral jump. That's like an answer that Momochi hasn't gone for yet. You see the run? You see the offense, right? That's very different from what Momochi usually does. And there's a different name in the sub counter now. Banar with the sub on Twitch Prime. Thanks very much. That's super kind of you. Didn't even have to use September. He had the free sub. I think his defense I wouldn't describe his defense, in the topic of Knuckle Dew, I wouldn't describe defense as one of his strengths. Like, I don't mean blocking, right? Blocking is not one of the strengths that I think he has. His defense, I think, is good because he's good about mixing up flash kick, jab, throw, backdash, those things. But what I meant was he's more of a wall, like Momochi kind of is, you know, where you just can't get in on him. And he's so hard to predict what he will do while he keeps you out, which is what I like about watching him play.
Great block. Fighting out of the corner.
Thanks for the Twitch Prime, man. That's kind of you.
Big whip.
I'm surprised that that sweep didn't punish it. Good anti-air, actually. He spent bar, which I think is probably worth it.
Okay. For the damage.
Oh, no. I think he could have hit confirmed that a little better.
Nice jump back.
Right? I think he could have hit confirmed. Wow, that was a great standing light kick to check him out. And I'm checking out Glasses Are Gods. 10 months. Thanks very much for the subscription. The jury is out, Craigasm. Man, also, this jersey is tripping me out, by the way. So Momochi gets game 1. And I think it sort of threw off Moke the way that Momochi was playing. But I don't think long-term Momochi has enough answers to Rashid, you know? You know? It's going to be tough. This jersey, I'll make fun of this later, but we'll get there. Yeah, Nemo was playing a little weird. That's a meaty throw setup. Did you see that? That's a pretty cool setup from Moke. I don't think I've seen this. Crush counter sweep. He has dash, down medium punch, standing medium kick, throw as a meaty. See that? It's pretty cool.
Starts off with a sweep and a throw. Nice confirm from Momochi.
Counter hit confirm. Oh, I think, did that stuff the DP or did he just not get a DP? This is a good thing to check. What happens here? He just gets hit. So he might have been trying to input something and just missed it at the last second. He just gets clipped. Am I commentating Brooklyn Beatdown next week or am I doing IPS finals? If I am doing one of those things, then the company that I'm working for might announce it soon.
Crouching Fierce, nice neutral jump Fierce. Puts him back in the corner.
Is what I'll say. See, this is why this anti-air is... This is so absurd. I think this is like one of the craziest things in the game to me. This anti-air is just wild. So forward medium punch is -2 on block. So Momochi spends his turn to jump, right? Because, you know, this is how this works, right? When he does forward medium punch here, forward medium punch is negative on block. So Moke is gonna block after, right? Momochi knows that he will block, so he takes his turn instead of hitting a button to escape the corner, is what he thinks, right? He clearly made it over Moke's head, so crouching medium punch or EX uppercut wouldn't catch him. But heavy mixer not only anti-airs from behind, but it will pull your opponent back to the front. Such an absurd anti-air. It's so good. It's probably the best anti-air special move in the game.
Jump back in the corner. Good option there from Momochi.
Man, Moke is just waiting him out.
Just taking his time.
Yeah, I think that's this is a really smart way to play the V-trigger, right? Because basically Ken's only chance in this matchup is probably to win with a big V-trigger comeback. So he basically just waits him out here. There's no like hurry, right? Yeah, and then he can negate this. So here's something that I heard on the commentary.
Back to the corner because that is safe.
This is a really interesting situation. In fact, this is like one of the coolest situations that you can think about. The commentary made a missed call on this, which happens to all of us. But check this out. So he uses Crouching Fierce into the enhanced mixer for corner carry. This is guaranteed corner, basically, right? You guarantee the corner as long as you're not like in the opposite corner. So this is a really sick mix-up. This move is not plus on block. A lot of people think it is. Enhanced mixer is 0. It's neutral. 0 on block. So Ken doesn't have a 3-frame button, right? His only 3-frame move is his light kick Tatsu. So if he does standing light kick here and Momochi does jab or crouching jab or standing light kick or whatever, it doesn't matter. It will lose to whatever Moke does. The only thing that Momochi can do that will get out of this is light kick Tatsu because it's 3 frames. So Moke, he has the advantage here technically because there's 0 and he has a faster attack than Momochi. But Momochi does reversal Tatsu. 3 frames, right? In the hopes that Moke will hit a button. I believe it would trade here. I'm pretty sure it'll trade. If Moke hits light kick. I think it'll trade with the Tatsu. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it would. So Moke knows that Tatsu is coming and blocks it on his own advantage, just because he recognizes the scenario and says like, all right, look, this is like the only thing he could do to get out of here, and then he punishes. That's really like next level. That's really next level to know the character matchup well enough to know like, okay, the only possible thing he could do that could beat my standing light kick is light kick Tatsu, right? It's pretty good. That's like next level.
Momochi risks it with the Tatsu there and gets punished for that. Moke not pushing the button after that spinning mixer. That is
it trades, right? Okay.
Yes, it is. He probably expected a DP from Momochi.
That's actually a very rare scenario. This right here, when you whiff Crouching Fierce as God, it's so far. When you whiff this button as Rashid, very rarely can you get hit by cross-ups. Oftentimes, you just get clipped by, you just whiffs. I think if he would have stayed crouching, it might have whiffed. Moke could EX SRK. Yeah, or Momo, yeah, he could, but it's very risky to do in comparison to the light kick Tatsu. Also, this is an interesting, and it's much more punishable, right? And you spend more. This is an interesting thing that Moke does a lot. In the corner, he wakes up with standing light kick and guarantees his escape with EX Eagle Spike. He's always willing to spend this bar to escape the corner, and this is why you can't keep Rashid in the corner. First of all, he has the wall jump, so they can jump up to the wall, and he can go down at that angle, or he could go out at that angle, which, if you're Ken, you already can't cover that. He has V reversal, which moves him out to like right here, and it's hard to stop that. And then he has EX Eagle Spike, which is doing exactly what you see on the screen. So between all those options, it's almost impossible to keep Rashid cornered. And on the other hand, it's near impossible to escape the corner on Rashid.
Try and punish the EX Eagle.
He's too far to sweep, I think, so he just takes the pressure. Good block. Momochi gets kind of desperate with the uppercuts near as the longer this set goes on, and I think it's because in a matchup like this, you kind of have to. You're so outgunned in so many areas that you feel like you need to take risks. Yeah, he gets wrong on the mix-up there, and so because of that, he's, yeah, EX Eagle Spike out again. He already has V-trigger, so he can guarantee himself a mix-up. What I love from Momochi is that every time this happens, this scenario, notice that he doesn't panic and quick rise. He always delayed get up, and that will negate this tornado completely, right? This tornado does not matter because he delayed rise. He can jump back and it's gone.
Last frames. Momochi has full meter. Be wary of the crouching medium kick.
Okay, this is actually one of the rarest. This is one of the rarest shiny Pokemon-esque moments that I've ever seen in Street Fighter.
Momochi has full meter. Be wary of the crouching.
Missed hit confirm from Momochi. That was crazy. Honestly, like, how often do you see this happen? How often do you see Momochi miss a hit confirm? The fact that him missing a hit confirm is like, oh my god. Him hitting a hit confirm, you're like, all right, whatever. But him missing, I was like, that's crazy as shit. Like, I actually couldn't believe it. I can't remember the last time I've seen him miss low forward hit confirm super, right? I've seen him hit the low forward and then not cancel into super, but never can I remember seeing him do it on block. It's crazy. It's been a long time since I remember seeing him miss it, right? It's been a long time. That was crazy.
Oh, he tried.
And then spends 2 bars to close out on the combo. So 1 apiece. You can see that. You can see that it's a hard matchup. Momochi gets the first game, I think, through sheer like just solidness, like crazy spacing, awareness, right reads in neutral. But yeah, he struggles here. And this is the kind of the nature. Oh man, poor Momochi. This is kind of the nature of a hard matchup, right? This is kind of the nature of a hard matchup. So that time, notice, all right, this is the same kind of setup that he did before. And Ninja Cat set me up to thank him. Thanks very much for the subscription. 2 months in a row with Twitch Prime. That's very kind of you. So this is the same setup that Moke got earlier. And this time Momochi backdashes, right? So here's what it is. Sweep, dash, crouching medium punch, standing medium kick, and then he goes for the medium punch. And it looked like he even delayed it maybe a little bit. I'm guessing to catch maybe throw tech. He wanted to counter hit the throw tech, but he didn't get it.
Catch the backdash. Nice confirm from Momochi. Walks up. It's two fists to the face. Here comes the corner pressure. Nice jump.
See, it's so hard for him to chase down Rashid. That's a good hit confirm, and that'll kill, but it's very hard, right? It's like escaping this character is just so hard.
Momochi 3 for 3 on those confirms. Runs up with fireballs. Looking for that space. Momochi's.
You see that? Momochi wasn't ready to whip punish. I don't know exactly what he was looking for, but light punch mixer is good when you're waiting for other stuff. But in my mind, I imagine he was looking for crouching fierce right here, and then sweep happens and it just misses. And like he's so focused on crouching fierce that he was like, shit, it's already too late. Right? It's already too late to whip punish. It's so hard. Standing medium kick will catch you at a range a lot of times, and then the standing fierce buffer after. He does this a lot. This is a really good high priority button. It can crush counter. It's very easy to hit confirm. And now he's cornered already. See, wrong answer here again. He needs to use the heavy mixer a little bit more. So crouching medium punch is easier to execute, and you can do it in a snap reaction, much easier, right? But it's very difficult to, yeah, you can't keep Rashid cornered. Oh! There it is, there it is, there it is. You can't keep him cornered, right? It's so difficult if he mixes up his escape options. That's not real. You can actually wake up jab that. This run into throw. So the last time Momochi had a meaty, he did run low medium kick as a meaty, but run into throw here is not real. You can wake up button this. Did he try to wake up button? You can actually hit a button. No, he just crouched. You can actually wake up button there. It's not real.
A whole bunch of crouching fierces. He's been walking into those. Yes,
oh, no punish on sweep.
Playing a little bit more tentative.
There it is.
Has his opening. Great punish on that overhead.
Oh, he's too far. He's too far for the counter hit. Out of there. Yeah, he missed his uppercut, it looked like. The V reversal. Ken has a great V reversal, right? But it's just, you know, it doesn't knock down, which means it doesn't really give him that much advantage. Great from Momochi. That's why activating V trigger this close is not really that good, right? It's not really that good because Momochi walks up and just takes the block. And look at that. The tornado's gone. It's dissipated already. He got one mix-up off of it, right? Which is like, I mean, okay, I guess. Counter hit, he gets big combo off that. Yeah, when you hit the counter hit crouching fierce into the EX whirlwind, you get the big combo. One more mix-up, one more guess. And I feel like this is the moment where the set kind of fell apart for him, you know? Like, the big gamble is just rough. It's like, as soon as it doesn't work out, I feel like it's just like, you question yourself. Do I uppercut again? Do I not uppercut again? Like, what's my sort of situation there, you know? It's really hard.
Momochi's actually the last person you expect to wake up DP. Right, as fundamental.
Momochi is the last person you expect to do a wake up DP. God damn it. Come on, fellas. You guys don't remember Yolochi? You guys remember Street Fighter 4? They called him Yolochi. They didn't even call him Momochi because he used to wake up low medium kick all the time. You guys remember that? It's not that long ago. It's just a few years ago. Yolochi, that's who he is. That, remember Z yelling Yolochi on the mic? He's like, Yolochi, please. That's all he would yell all the time. You know, do you guys remember that Ken's crouching medium kick in Ultra Street Fighter 4 was 4 frames? He had a 4-frame crouching medium kick. 4-frame crouching medium kick. It was crazy. Momochi used to wake up low forward EX Tatsu.
Sound as he is, Moke.
Yeah, dude, Momochi won Capcom Cup and he won Evo back to back. 4 frames. Think about that. 4-frame crouching medium kick. You could crouch tech with it. That is so unfortunate. I saw people in the chat calling Momochi Yolochi for this one. But what happens here is he either got a late cancel, like missed his hit confirm, or he was too far for the first hit to combo. But this is actually a hit confirmable. This is a hit confirmable situation. Crouching medium kick and uppercut. Oh yeah, it looks like he's already recovered. I think he got a late cancel. But yeah, what can happen is if you're too far, the uppercut's first hit might not combo. And because of the pushback, you sometimes get this scenario where the uppercut's blocked. I think that time he just missed his cancel. Crouching medium kick fireball is not a true block string in this game either, oftentimes. Man, poor guy. He can't whiff punish a single damn thing. Good block. That block was super crucial. So here's the situation, right? Short doesn't lead to anything. So Momochi knows that. And, you know, he's willing to take the down back, but the overhead is the only thing that could really threaten him, right? And because any move that moves forward, well, alright, so if you guys don't know how Rashid's V-trigger works, any attack that he has that moves forward, anything that's advancing, right? The eagle spike, his forward medium punch, his forward heavy punch, right? The overhead. Any attack that moves him forward will become powerful in the tornado. So that's why the overhead is so good, because you see how far he was when he did that overhead? See how far away he is? When he does it, because it moves forward, it gets enhanced by the tornado and he flies in there. You see that? It's enhanced. So it travels super far. Damn, that was a good block. But yeah, that's why it's so good. Powerful. No punish. Oh, no. No. You poor man. That's actually like probably the worst feeling in the world right here. He does a sweep. Momochi tries the sweep back. And he just knows. Like, if... This is one of those things, right? Where, as a player, you just do it, right? Yeah, powerful Joe Rogan. As a player, you just do this. Because here's how this goes. If Momochi does a sweep right there, as Rashid, you just hit Crouching Fierce. Because if the sweep hits you, you'll get knocked down. It doesn't matter. If the sweep misses, your Crouching Fierce will hit and whiff punish, right? So it's like sort of you just do it automatically. It's like one of those things where when you're on that level, you just know exactly what to do. And that's exactly what he does. He knows that if he sticks this out, the only way this will come out is if he doesn't get hit by a sweep. And so he gets a punish and he kills him for it. It's brutal. Yeah, a wish punish, right. It's a good way to put about it. It's rough. And poor Momochi, man. He's playing on the ground. He's living his life. It's just brutal. This jersey is killing me. I think it's cool that Moke is sponsored though. That's for sure.
If not, try not, don't punish at all.
I wonder if he saw that Momochi didn't whiff any buttons, so he knew he could wake up here. Like Momochi dashes here, and so he wakes up a button. The normal setup there is not dash, right? He has a setup that will cover quick and late rise. There's the hit confirm. Yeah, Moke and Gachikun have a lot of points now. Moke, that top 8 Evo is very useful, and the CPT online, right? Activates, but it's really not a super useful tornado. Yeah, right? Because Momochi walks forward to block it. Do you see the difference in walk speed here? So, Ken has some of the fastest back walk speed in the game. I think second fastest behind Vega, unless one of the DLC characters is faster. And he can't even walk. This is why Ken is so good at shimmy, and this is why Ken is so good at whiff punishing, right? Why he can set up whiff punishes. Because his back walk speed is some of the fastest in the game. But Rashid is too fast and his buttons go too far. So even walking backwards, Momochi can't escape the buttons, right? Knuckle Dude is already in the top 4. See that escape? I think the problem is, it depends on what you predict here, right? If you predict the far escape, if you predict this escape, you lose to the downward escape, right? So it's like, it's really hard to cover both options. And not only that, in that moment when he comes down, oh, throw baits with it, damn. When he comes down, you don't know what side he's gonna land on. He could land in the front or the back. Yeah, Du is auto-qualified, and he also has the 3rd or 4th most points, so he is more than fine. One more for stun. And that'll do it. He gets to build a little bit of meter here. Clean. Moke is dumpstering him. You're really starting to see why the matchup is so bad, right? And I think in bad matchups, anytime you're fighting a bad matchup, the player who has the winning matchup always has an advantage the longer it goes on. Because the player in the losing matchup is working, you know, theoretically to win is working much harder, right? So it's more difficult to keep it up in a long-term set. So the more games there are, the better it is for the person in the winning matchup, right? They have the advantage in terms of matchup, and in just in the terms of like as they play, it's so waiting on their opponent. This combo's tight. DP against the wall escape doesn't always work. Let's say theoretically Rashid is up here, and he's doing the wall escape. Momochi is down here, and he does an uppercut in this direction, right? If Rashid happened to do the far escape, the uppercut will whiff. If Rashid does the close escape and goes past him, then the uppercut will also whiff. The only way the uppercut hits is if he does the close escape and it goes in front. That's the only scenario where uppercut wins right there. Or unless you get an autocorrect, which is hard to time. Wow, that actually was a whip punish.
Momochi needs to take this round. Corner pressure.
Clean meaty.
The meaties here on Momochi. You saw
Yeah, clean meaty with the jab.
The jab, back medium punch finds its mark. It's either a normal or throw. Yes, sir.
So that's why it's hard for Ken to cage Rashid. And he really doesn't have any good answers to a lot of this stuff. He has a great V reversal, but it doesn't change anything. Because it doesn't knock down, every time you V reversal, you just tap Rashid, and then he hits Crouching Fierce again. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter that you've done it. Wake up jab. He does that a lot in the rest of the set. He got away with like what, two? Oh, miss is confirmed. He got away with like 2 or 3 uppercuts, and that means that, yeah, just like that one. So that means Moke gets a little worried about it, and he starts letting Momochi wake up jab a lot more. But it's not that big of a deal, you know, because the damage is, in the long term is not huge. I can't believe that combo. That was so far. Wake up jab. And the run too. And the takes the throw. That's the one time he stopped believing in the uppercut. Because if Momochi hit uppercut here, like it was what, that much damage? He'd be somewhere around there, like maybe, I don't even know, right here or something. We've done a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. You're willing to take the mix up on the throw. So yeah, the matchup is brutal, man. This is a tough matchup. Momochi knows it. He knows it. This jersey to me is crazy. When I saw this reflective holographic jersey, it looked like a Yu-Gi-Oh card to me, right? I was like, this fool's wearing a Yu-Gi-Oh card to play? It's crazy. I don't know what it is. It's like a Ponos Sports. You guys know what this is? I'm not sure what the company is. I just know that it's the person who is sponsoring Moke now.